Gaslighting. The sneaky art of making someone doubt their own sanity. Imagine you're at a party and your friend swears they saw you eat the last slice of pizza, but you know you didn't. They insist, "Remember? You even said how good it was." Suddenly, you're questioning your memory. Did you eat it? Are you losing your mind? That's gaslighting in a nutshell. It's like playing Jedi mind tricks, but without the cool lightsabers. The term actually comes from a 1938 play where a husband dims the gaslights and tells his wife she's imagining it. Talk about a dim-witted move. Gaslighters might deny events, twist facts, or claim you're too sensitive. It's enough to make you feel like you're taking crazy pills. But remember, your reality is valid, even if someone tries to convince you that pineapple belongs on pizza. Love bombing. Love bombing is like getting hit by Cupid's arrow. If Cupid were a crafty little troublemaker, it's when someone showers you with so much affection you feel like you're drowning in heart-shaped candies and teddy bears. Picture this. You meet someone, and suddenly they're texting you 24/7, buying you gifts, and declaring you're their soulmate faster than you can say U-Haul. It's like being in a romantic comedy but on steroids. Here's a fun fact. The term love bombing was actually coined by the Unification Church in the 1970s. Yep, a religious cult came up with it. Talk about red flags. While it might feel amazing at first, because of course who doesn't like being treated like royalty, love bombers often have a hidden agenda. They're trying to sweep you off your feet so fast you don't notice the dust they're hiding under the rug. Remember, if it seems too good to be true, it might just be a love bomb in disguise. Silent treatment. The silent treatment is like playing hide and seek with someone's emotions, except nobody's having fun. Imagine you're talking to somebody, and suddenly they turn into a mime. Not the funny kind, just the silent, slightly creepy kind. It's when someone decides to give you the cold shoulder, ignoring you as if you've suddenly turned invisible. They won't talk to you, look at you, or even acknowledge your existence. It's like being stuck in a one-person game of Marco Polo where nobody ever says polo. Interestingly, scientists have found that the silent treatment activates the same area of the brain as physical pain. So when someone says, "You're hurting my feelings," they're not just being dramatic. While it might seem like a peaceful way to handle conflict, it's actually a pretty loud way of saying, "I'm upset." It's the conversational equivalent of a toddler holding their breath until they get what they want. Spoiler alert, it rarely works out well for anyone involved. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is like being a master chef of emotional manipulation, whipping up a big ol' bowl of shame stew. It's when someone tries to make you feel bad about something to get you to do what they want. Imagine your friend saying, "I guess I'll just sit home alone on my birthday since you're too busy to come to my party." Boom. You've just been served a piping hot plate of guilt with a side of emotional blackmail. Fun fact, guilt actually has an evolutionary purpose. It helped our ancestors maintain social bonds and avoid being kicked out of the tribe. But guilt trippers take this to the extreme, wielding guilt like a Jedi mind trick. It's like they're playing a twisted game of Would You Rather, where all the options make you feel awful. Would you rather disappoint me or do this thing you don't want to do? Remember, while a little guilt can be healthy, too much is like emotional heartburn, uncomfortable and potentially damaging in the long run. Intimidation. Intimidation is like being the school bully but for grown-ups. It's when someone tries to scare you into doing what they want. They might puff up their chest, raise their voice, or give you the evil eye that would make even Darth Vader proud. Picture a grumpy cat trying to look fierce. It might be funny if it wasn't so annoying. Intimidators try to make themselves seem bigger and scarier than they really are, like a chihuahua barking at a Great Dane. Here's a quirky fact. In the animal kingdom, some creatures use intimidation tactics too. The pufferfish inflates itself to look larger when threatened. So the next time someone tries to intimidate you, just imagine them as a puffy, spiky fish. While intimidation might work in the short term, Because who wants to argue with an angry pufferfish, right? It's not a great long-term strategy. It's like trying to win friends by showing off your meanest face. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Lying and denial. Lying and denial are like playing a game of opposite day that never ends. It's when someone tells fibs or refuses to admit the truth, even when it's as obvious as an elephant in a tutu. Imagine your roommate eating your last cookie and then saying, "Cookie? What cookie? I've never seen a cookie in my life," while crumbs are still on their face. That's lying and denial in action. It's like they're auditioning for a role in a badly written sitcom. Fun fact, the average person lies about 1.65 times a day. That's about 600 lies a year. Makes you wonder if your pants are actually on fire right now, doesn't it? Denial is lying's stubborn cousin. It's like when a kid covers their eyes and thinks you can't see them. If I can't see the truth, it doesn't exist. Remember, while honesty might be the best policy, for some folks, it's more like a suggestion they choose to ignore. Just don't be surprised if their noses start growing Pinocchio style. Triangulation. Triangulation is like playing emotional ping pong, but with 3 people instead of 2. It's when someone brings a third person into a situation to stir up drama, jealousy, or insecurity. Picture this. Your friend tells you, "Oh, Sarah said your new haircut looks interesting." Suddenly, you're worried about what Sarah thinks, even though she might not have said anything at all. It's like your friend just created a love triangle, but instead of love, it's filled with doubt and bad vibes. Here's a funny tidbit. The term triangulation comes from geometry, but I bet your math teacher never warned you about this kind of triangle. It's like being in a real-life soap opera where everyone's talking about everyone else, but never directly to each other. It's as if the Gossip Girl narrator decided to meddle in your life. Remember, when someone tries to triangulate, they're basically admitting their communication skills are as weak as a wet noodle. Don't let them turn your life into a game of telephone gone wrong. Moving the goalpost. Moving the goalpost is like playing soccer with a mischievous referee who keeps changing where you're supposed to score. Just when you think you've won, surprise, the goal is now on the other side of the field. Imagine you clean the whole house, feeling proud of yourself, but then your roommate says, "Yeah, but did you alphabetize the spice rack?" Suddenly, your hard work doesn't seem good enough. That's moving the goalpost in action. Fun fact, this term actually comes from American football, where literally moving the goalpost used to be allowed during a game. Can you imagine the chaos? It's like they took inspiration from the most frustrating dreams and made it real. It's a bit like trying to please a toddler who keeps changing their mind about what they want for dinner. "I want spaghetti, no pizza, no ice cream for dinner." Remember, if someone keeps moving goalposts, you might want to consider finding a new game to play. Preferably one with fixed rules and a less sneaky referee. Minimizing. Minimizing is like having a friend who's a master of the shrink ray, but instead of objects, they shrink the importance of your feelings or experiences. It's when someone downplays your concerns, making mountains look like molehills. Imagine you're upset because your cat shredded your favorite sweater. Your roommate says, "It's just a sweater, get over it." Congrats, you've just been hit by the minimizing shrink ray. Here's a fun fact. In psychology, this is sometimes called the paper cut effect. Just like how a tiny paper cut can feel way more annoying than it looks, our emotions can feel much bigger than others might think they should be. It's like playing emotional Jenga, where someone keeps trying to convince you that the wobbling tower is totally fine, even as blocks are falling everywhere. Remember, if someone keeps minimizing your feelings, it doesn't mean you're overreacting. It might just mean they need to upgrade their empathy software to the latest version. Projection. Projection is like playing a game of "I'm rubber, you're glue" with your personality traits. It's when someone takes their own flaws, feelings, or behaviors and slaps them onto someone else faster than you can say, "No, you are." Imagine your friend who's always late accusing you of having no concept of time. Plot twist, they're the one who couldn't be on time if their life depended on it. That's projection in action. Fun fact, this term comes from Sigmund Freud, the guy who thought everything was about your mom or dad. He believed projection was a defense mechanism to protect our fragile egos. It's like our brains are playing dress up with our issues. It's the psychological equivalent of that kid in class who farts and immediately blames the person next to them. He who smelt it dealt it, taken to a whole new level. Remember, when someone's throwing accusations around like confetti, they might just be hosting their own internal personality parade. Don't let their projector show become your problem.